A judge recently ruled an Alabama woman who says she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can proceed anonymously in her lawsuit for now. In her lawsuit, the woman claims she was raped by the two men in 2000 when she was 13 years old. She said she traveled to New York City, befriended a limousine driver who drove her to an after party for the MTV Music Awards, where she says she was eventually attacked by Jay-Z and Combs. Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's lawyer, has pointed out inconsistencies in her story, including her recalling watching the award show on a jumbotron that was not there. And the woman's father says he does not recall driving from Rochester to pick up his daughter in New York City, as she says he did. The woman has admitted inconsistencies in her story. The judge says the woman may be required to reveal her identity at a later date if the case proceeds, allowing defense lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
The legal issues surrounding Jay-Z, Diddy, and other well-known figures have brought to light a series of complex lawsuits and serious accusations. These high-profile cases, now drawing significant public and legal attention, involve claims of misconduct and inappropriate behavior at lavish parties allegedly hosted by Diddy.
The judge has ruled the woman alleging she was raped by Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs can remain anonymous. The woman says both men raped her at a party when she was 13 years old. Jay-Z's legal team had fought to get the case dismissed, arguing his accuser should have to reveal her name, but the judge disagreed. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
A legal victory for the woman who is suing Jay-Z for allegedly raping her when she was 13. A federal judge ruling the woman can proceed with the case while remaining anonymous, at least for now. But the judge also chastising the lawyers representing Jay-Z, accusing them of trying to fast-track the judicial process by repeatedly filing motions to reveal the identity of the Jane Doe to have the case dismissed. The judge writing in a 5-page brief that the Carter's lawyers' relentless filing of combative motions containing inflammatory language and ad hominem attacks is inappropriate, a waste of judicial resources, and a tactic unlikely to benefit his client. The court will not fast-track the judicial process merely because the counsel demands it. This latest legal twist coming after the recently filed civil lawsuit by Jane Doe, claiming that Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and P. Diddy, drugged and raped a 13-year-old girl at an after-party after the MTV Music Awards in 2000, while an unnamed celebrity watched. Jay-Z has vehemently denied all the allegations, putting out this statement 2 weeks ago, writing in part, "This is a blackmail attempt." The multi-platinum artist, who was 30 at the time, now a business mogul with decades of hits to his name, with songs like Run This Town.
We are, yeah, I said it, we are. This is Rock Nation, pledge your allegiance.
His attorneys have denied everything about Jane Doe's account and pointed to some alleged inconsistencies in her story.
It's not just that this story is a lie and that it's not true. It's provably, demonstrably false. This never happened.
The judge writing that while Jane Doe can remain anonymous for now, she may be required to reveal her identity at a later date to allow Jay-Z's lawyers to collect facts necessary to prepare for trial.
Oftentimes, when someone is accused of a crime like this, the accuser doesn't want to be named, and if they are forced to be named, we have seen certain people decide to drop the lawsuit altogether.
Morgan Norwood, thank you. And Tony Busby, the lawyer representing Jay-Z and Diddy's accuser, says in a statement to ABC News, quote, "I will say that the coordinated and desperate efforts to attack me as counsel for alleged victims are falling flat. We won't be bullied or intimidated." And we did reach out to Jay-Z and his team, but did not get a response.
As the legal proceedings continue, a closer look at the case reveals the judge's response and underscores the wider impact on everyone involved. These new details offer important insight into the complexity of these high-profile and controversial issues.
How do you feel about what Jay-Z is being accused of?
Terrible accusation. I think what's iller is how people are reacting to the accusation. Like they putting them through the ringer. And I've never seen them do that before. So that's the thing. Like usually things get brushed under the rug with him. And I've been accused of shit that I haven't done before. And people don't scrutinize. I didn't get as scrutinized as he's getting. So I'm like, it's just odd to see him in that, getting looked at in that way by white people, like Jay does, yeah, like I hope that shit didn't happen, but I'm like, damn, they They turned the world real, like people on a certain level have been fucking with him a certain way where he couldn't do no wrong for like 25 years straight. This is the first time he's not getting a pass with white media. You know, like he can control black media because a lot of them either work or do business with him. You know, but like, you know, drink champs can't get him out of this one, and neither can Charlemagne, because you know, those are the guys that hold him down no matter what he does anyway. So he got to get to People Magazine and Entertainment Tonight right now because they on his head. But the question is why? Like, why now? You know, because for me, I'd be like, yo, that's so ridiculous. Yo, take that to trial. You're not going to win. Let's get a deposition or something, you know? So I don't know why they on his head so much, pause. But I never seen him, you know, under this, you know, I never seen him in this position to have to explain himself. Pause.
How you feel about the statement he came out with?
I mean, I didn't hear him say anything. I heard a piece of, you know, like I said, for me, I like, you see, I'm doing an interview, so I talk. I thought it was long. For a statement, I thought it was long, pause. But, you know, I think right now, his silence is the worst thing for him. If he is innocent, he needs to let people ask him questions, and he needs to be able to say his side of the story, as opposed to letting that lawyer talk. Because that lawyer, I don't trust that lawyer because I went to court with him. So to me, everything that guy says is, you know, allegedly a lie, just based on my experience with going to court with him. I don't trust the Alex Shapiro dude. He's ill. He's an ill dude. He'll say anything. Like, he crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I wouldn't have him talking for me. If he wants, you know, I'm not going to sit there and say nothing bad or good or defend or anything, because it'll all play itself out. I just think it's kind of ill that they're on his head like that. And if he's, you know, he should probably come out and say something. But I believe right now, you know, everybody needs to be transparent. Like back in the day, not saying something could have been like the wave, but that was before social media. So now that there's social media and transparency, if you got an issue, you don't let people speak for you. You should speak for you.
Jay-Z and Diddy are facing serious allegations that have drawn significant public attention. In a lawsuit filed by a plaintiff known as Jane Doe, she claimed she was only 13 years old when she experienced inappropriate conduct involving Jay-Z and witnessed troubling behavior by Diddy.
And, you know, go from there. That's what I would do.
So you don't think it was a good idea for his lawyer to speak for him?
Mm-hmm. It's been too many things said for too long. So I'd be like, yo, again, I'm telling you what I did. So I got accused of a sexual assault. I went through a full trial. The first thing I did is I made my statement. And then I went and did an interview. You know, that's what I did. And I went to trial. It didn't affect me. You know, like I can't say it didn't completely affect me, but what I could say is they didn't do that shit they doing to him to me. You know, and then when I won the trial, no one said a word. You know, saying that, you know, it's hard. Like I don't think I would have said that he didn't know Puff at all or wasn't his friend. I thought that was a little extreme. I thought that was the wrong choice of words. I think that's going to trigger a lot of backlash. But the thing is, I never seen him get backlash at all. So that's what I'm saying. Now he getting backlash. Like, when do you know Jay-Z to be on his heels other than when he got beat up in the elevator? But that was nothing. But I've never seen him under the fire ever. Not in a long time. Not like, I've never seen people on his head like that, Paul. Ever.
Yeah, this might be my first time seeing people come at him like this.
Like I said, I didn't hear him say anything. Like, I'm not some white man speaking for another black man doesn't add up. It just doesn't work like that. Like, he doesn't know what to say on Jay's behalf. Jay would have to say that. So if he instructed him to say that, like, you don't even know if Jay told him to say that. He could have got off the stage and they was like, why'd you say that? He was like, I had to. You know, like, he probably said it because homeboy wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? So who knows? Like, I didn't hear him say anything. I haven't heard Jay say a word yet. Have you?
Nah, I haven't heard him say anything.
There it is. So y'all going by a piece of paper with words. Don't get caught up in that. I have not heard him say one thing yet. You know, until I see him speak, he hasn't spoke to me. That's why I said I don't think he did not say that. His lawyer said it. So what else is a lawyer gonna say? You know what I'm saying?
Right. But speaking of his lawyer, what did he do to you personally?
Alex Shapiro, he's the one. I'm gonna tell you what he did. I could tell you this is not allegedly. First of all, he works for Jay personally, as we see. He represented Rockefeller Inc. for Jay, for Rockefeller Inc. And they made that phony case against me saying that I was trying to sell the whole thing. Remember we went to court? That's when I started speaking about him again, because he was like, now you taking me to court, you lying. It was a straight lie. And the only purpose of it was to illegally change bylaws so that it prohibited me from selling my interest unless they all agreed to it. And then the way they had the meetings, he was the one at the meeting changing the bylaws, speaking and talking in such a disrespectful way, like he ran Rockefeller or some shit. So, and then the comments that he's made, like Jay getting his master's back in certain years, like every single game that he played with me was a lie. Like he lied a lot. Like it was a straight lie. And then they was harassing me with the lawsuits, sending me all type of papers and shit. And I just didn't give a because I knew. I like you see, look at the way no one ever talks about the fact that they just dismissed the case. Nah, he's an ill nigga. That's what I'm saying. He's like, he does whatever, says whatever, he does whatever. He doesn't play. I'm saying he's the real deal. Those two going against each other will be very interesting.
Jane Dove alleges that in 2000, she traveled to New York City and attended an after-party following the MTV Music Awards. She claims the assault happened during this event.
Tonight, Jay-Z's attorney, Alex Spiro, is pushing to get a judge to dismiss the rape lawsuit against his client, citing an NBC News exclusive that found inconsistencies with the accuser's account.
We expect Mr. Carter to be fully cleared of all of this in the coming days. Almost nothing that she says has checked out because this never happened.
This in the wake of our interview with a 38-year-old mother from Alabama who accuses Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, and Sean Diddy Combs of raping her when she was 13 years old. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough.
She says that she might have some facts wrong, but that she says the incident happened. What do you say to that?
Anybody, when they make up a claim, they can just keep repeating it and getting it right. But you never get the details right. And what happened during her interview with you is that the story began to unravel.
On the night of the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000, she says Combs' limo driver took her to an after party. There she says she spoke to musician Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo. That's the Last Supper.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative for the Maddens confirmed they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at that time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter both raped her. She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. She didn't ask me what happened.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not corroborate her story. I feel like I would remember that, and I don't, he said. The woman revealed to us that she has autism and previously suffered a head injury. In a follow-up phone interview, we asked her about the contradictions, and she said that she stands by her statements.
This woman is standing by her story. It happened over 20 years ago. Maybe her memory is hazy. Maybe her father doesn't remember that night.
No, she's doubled down on certain of these details. She says, I'm positive. She points out the tattoo. She talks about the tattoo in vivid detail. Turns out that's completely false. And the father is supposed to be picking her up. 10-hour drive, round trip to pick her up in the middle of the night. Has no memory of that. No one has come forward about this in nearly a quarter of a century, and that's because this never happened.
Spiro said he's not only seeking justice for Jay-Z, he says that he also wants to expose the accuser's attorney, Tony Busby.
He takes away the voices from real victims, and he calls...
Judge Analisa Torres, who is presiding over the case, recently ruled that Jane Doe can proceed with her lawsuit anonymously, at least during its early stages. This decision is rooted in the nature of the allegations, as cases involving minors or victims often permit anonymity to protect their identity.
This is real harm. If this lawyer has any sense, he's going to dismiss this claim. I don't know whether he has any sense.
Busby, who has filed more than 20 lawsuits against Combs, told NBC News that he is continuing to vet the accuser's claims and that she has agreed to undergo a polygraph this week. A representative for Combs called the suit a shameless money grab.
Since your attorneys refiled the lawsuit against Combs naming Jay-Z, he has come out with a very long statement saying that this is completely not true and that this is all about trying to get money from him. What do you say about that?
I haven't asked for a dime from him. It's not everything is motivated by money, and I'm sorry that he feels that it is.
This woman also told us on camera last week that this isn't about money.
Well, let's be serious. A lawyer like this is not sending out these letters not to make money. He wants money and fame. He doesn't care about truth and justice. And that's what's going on here.
Chloe Malas joins us in studio. So, Chloe, explain this to me. The attorney for the plaintiffs, Tony Busby, right? He is sticking by his client even though you've been able to report these inconsistencies and they are now out there in the public?
Yes, and because of our exclusive report here on Top Story, he's actually going to have Jane Doe do a polygraph test. He says he hasn't done it yet, but that they are going to be doing it this week. He also said in a statement to us moments ago that their conduct throughout all of this has been beyond reproach and will continue to be. Even though that's not what you're hearing Alex Spiro, Jay-Z's attorney, what he's saying. Also, I just want to show you, Jay-Z's team created a timeline. Obviously, even though this took place allegedly 24 years ago, right? They are saying that there is just no way that he could have been at the VMAs. He's on camera there until the end of the VMAs, which ended right after 11, and that there are photographs of him at the Lotus Club in Manhattan, and they say he was there till 3 a.m., and then he went to the music studio. So again, they are adamant that
he was not at that party.
He was not at any sort of after party.
I do want to ask you this. What is Jay-Z's sort of legal team strategy in describing the relationship between Diddy and Jay-Z? Because there are a ton of photos of them over the years, obviously before these allegations came out.
And this civil suit, Tom, originally just named Combs, and then it was amended last weekend to include Jay-Z. What Alex Spiro said to me today is that although publicly Jay-Z supported criminal charge in the trial, he says Jay-Z has no knowledge of any of that. Again, he publicly supported him as a fellow musician and someone where they came up together in the industry, but that they weren't as close.
Judge Annalisa Torres, overseeing the case, recently ruled that Jane Doe can move forward with her lawsuit anonymously, at least during the initial stages. The decision reflects the sensitive nature of the allegations, as cases involving minors or victims often allow anonymity to safeguard their identity.
How did it come about, him signing the Rockefeller?
I mean, I was managing Cam, Mace, and Bloodshed, and Big L as a group called the Children of the Corn. You know, this is before any of us really, I mean, like Big L at that point was doing the most. He had a deal. And, Cam used to be around me a lot. He was the young fly guy because he was playing ball. He won, like at 15, he won MVP at the Rucker. And, I was a little older than him, and I was getting more money than most kids my age, put it like that. And his aunt lived in 1199, or someone related to him by Bloodshed, his cousin Bloodshed. He lived in D building, I lived in B building. So I would see Cam downtown, and I would also see him because I was on 142nd, he was on 139th and 40th. So I would see him uptown, and so we had that kind of connection. And then he went, so I was either way, so when I was moving Jay around, Pause, and the original Flavor, I was also trying to do things with Children of the Corn, but for some reason, I forgot what happened, and we went our different ways, and he ended up with and then we were kind of we fell out for a minute. And I remember, I'd seen Cam and the Dipset, and they was with and they were rehearsing, and I think they had this record called F*** You, and they were rehearsing, and it was like they were rehearsing, and I just happened to be there. A lot went on that night, I ain't gonna hold you, but they were rehearsing, they were all going F*** you, and they were doing it to me. Like, and I was pissed the fuck off, like, yo, let me talk to y'all. So I took him and Jim to the side, and I was like, yo, because, you know, he was with and them niggas was from Brooklyn. And I'm like, yo, I don't give a fuck. If we beefing or whatever, we from Harlem. We always got to stick together. Don't ever disrespect me in front of anybody. Like, we always got to be good money. You know, it was a real serious conversation. And then I didn't see him for a while. And some other shit happened that night was crazy. You know, I got into it with or some shit, and everybody had to come down. It was crazy. But anyway, you know, years later, I think my man Rel called me because Rel's from the block and put me on the phone with Cam. And Cam, I was like, yo, what up? You know, because I wasn't ever going to, like, turn my back on him. I guess things are going sideways with
The allegations are particularly serious as they involve a minor and suggest that powerful, high-profile individuals may have misused their influence in highly inappropriate ways. Jay-Z and Diddy have firmly denied the claims, but the public attention surrounding the case and the prominence of those involved have amplified interest and increased scrutiny.
And I said, come over here. But first I had to get him off his deal. So, you know, I went in there. Her name was Polly Anthony, I think her name was. Polly Anthony. She was running shit at the time. And then there was this other A&R, and Cam and them linked on him heavy. Either way, we got him off Sony. I got MOP off Sony too, or helped strategically. And, you know, I brought him over to Rockefeller from there. I mean, for me, anybody that I f***ed with could come to Rockefeller if they respected, you know, the art. So that's why Big L was on his way to Rockefeller. Like, once I had the plug, you know, pause. Like, once we were on, you know, I was trying to look out for everybody, to be honest.
So that was a real thing then, Big L signing to Rockefeller.
Yeah, it's not a rumor. That's a fact. I hadn't spoke to Jay about it yet, but I was doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now, once I say I'm doing it, I'm doing it. So it was just a matter of us getting it. That would be the thing, is I always had to have sign off from all three of them, and this dude would be gone. So I had to do things different. You know, it was. But yeah, Big L, he was definitely. He was gonna be a Rockefeller.
You think Jay would have been down with that?
I mean, he wasn't down with Kanye. He wasn't down with Nori. He wasn't down with Dipset. He wasn't down with a lot of shit. But at the time, because I had Biggs, it didn't matter what he thought, because it would always be 2-1, and Biggs would always rock with me. It's not like that now. But you know, that was where. And now that I think about it, that's why he wanted to get rid of Biggs. Damn, I can't believe I never thought about that. It was because of the voting power. In all these years, I never thought about that. Damn. That's why he wanted to get rid of Big.
You think Big L signing with y'all would have took him to the next level?
Anyone that signed to Rockefeller went to that next level. That was the algorithm. Algorithm wasn't even a word at that time, but the behavior pattern, the pattern was just based on, I had too many, there's no way, because I had the thing is, when my block is clicking, I let people put their work on my block, and our block was clicking. And Big L was like, you know, regardless to what, he was good. I'd have had him with the right producers. I would have had him with the right publicists. I would have been able to pay for co-ops. I would have been able to make sure that, you know, he did his promo tours correctly. I would have been able to make sure he was surrounded by the right people. That's what I did with everybody. I'd have been able to make a movie. That was my thing, you know. Every crew that came through made a movie, and he would have came through with a crew. And then him with like Dips, oh my God, it would have been crazy. Him with MOP, like even Graph, like Graph is still rolling now. Like the guys that I had, the whole second phase of Rockefeller set up. Like Cam, MOP, State Property, you know, Joe Buttons, Nori. I had all of that set up. Like Rockefeller wasn't going nowhere.
Judge Annalisa Torres, overseeing the case, has ruled that Jane Doe may continue her lawsuit anonymously during the early stages. This decision acknowledges the sensitive nature of the allegations, as cases involving minors or victims of this kind often permit anonymity to protect their identity and privacy.
doing that from Rockware office. You know what I'm saying? And bringing the rock and roll and all that. Like if Rockefeller wouldn't have got dismantled, it would, you know, that's the only thing that's sad about it is it didn't get to realize its full potential. We were just getting started.
And speaking of Big L, him and Jay had a battle, right?
They battled on 139th Street with me. Yeah, that happened.
How did that turn out?
It was a good tie. You know, in that moment, I would say Jay won because he had to go on Big L's block and survive. But we went on Big L, but he went with me. You know what I mean? So Sean Arnold was like, "You think Jay's on?" Because they used to tease Jay every day in Harlem, all day long. They thought he was the class clown. They used to cut him up all day, you know, until he blew up. And Steve Mack act like, you know, he was doing that because he was with me. But I don't care what his reason was. They gave me hell over that guy. So when he would pull up, that's why we used to have to battle all the time. Because I'd be like, my man will bust your ass, pause. And he came to Harlem, and Sean Arnold came up and was like, "Yo, Big L's over there right now." I'm like, "Whatever, let's go." And we went over there. You know, but again, it wasn't ever like a tough thing because we were all family. That was really my neighborhood. Even though I was from 1199, I still consider dudes over there family.
Yeah, I seen something online about how Joe Budden, he never got a Rockefeller chain. I had no idea he was on Rockefeller.
Yeah, because, you know, I wasn't allowed to do my big one, pause. But he didn't put out an album with us. So to get a Rockefeller chain, you had to put out an album. So once you put out an album, that's when I would give you a chain. Like I wouldn't give you a chain. Like you know, Sparks and Oskino never got chains either because they never put an album out. Big Face was telling me Sparks had brought that up the other day.
Yeah, I heard Jay, he didn't want to sign off on Joe's album.
He didn't want no parts of that shit.
What was his issue with him?
What was his issue with everybody, bro? You know, he always had an issue. I don't know. You know, Jay was retiring since Reasonable Doubt. He wanted to get the fuck away from us since Reasonable Doubt. Like when I see everything, I'm like, why else would he retire every, you know, year, you know, and would not retire? So, you know, it was always a problem, you know, with anything that kind of like had the potential to be another anchor for us where we didn't have to depend on him. You know, he didn't want none of that.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. That would have been a dope move too, him being on Rockefeller.
Now, I like that anytime that someone tried to lyrically battle him, that he would step right back. Like Joe Buttons could rap. Back then. I don't know what he's doing now, but back then he could rap. And also, like, he was like on, so what was happening was anyone that was kind of on Def Jam, that was getting neglected, like Joe Budden, I think, was on Def Jam, and so was Nori, and they were shitting on them. So I'd be like, yo, just come with us. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Twister was supposed to be a Rockefeller. I gave him a chain, I think. But Craig Coleman was hating, and Kanye f***ed that deal up. Common Sense was supposed to be a fucking Rockefeller. John Legend was supposed to be a Rockefeller. Like, I toured John Legend. Like, I would have never took John Legend on the road with Kanye and paid for him to go around the world to sing before Kanye sang, unless I thought that he was going to sign with Rockefeller. He did some sneaky shit and went to Sony. But we broke John Legend's career as well.
The judge also noted that Jane Doe's anonymity might not be permanent and could be reconsidered as the case moves forward, especially if it reaches later stages. This highlights the need to balance protecting the plaintiff's identity with maintaining transparency in the legal process.